Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 08036886158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of your breakfast show on television Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Ubebo, your host on the program. And of course, as we normally do on the program, on the first half, we review front headline stories on some select newspapers, including Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Who would like to flag off with Leadership, as always. Leadership's main headline story today says, Bleeding economy, stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil thieves. Bleeding economy, stakeholders want stiffer penalties for oil thieves. And of course, as usual, there's illustration beneath the main headline story. Meanings of oil theft. 6,465 illegal refineries deactivated in 2 years. 4,876 illegal connections to pipelines removed in 2 years. 9,000 NNPCL records 9,000 infractions on pipelines in 1 year. Experts allege community involvement in oil theft. Stakeholders want a death penalty for economic sabotage. CSOs plan global campaign against oil theft in Nigeria. These are the illustrations beneath the main headline story today on Leadership newspaper. Today, Wednesday, April 24, 2024. Beside that, we can't go after others if Yahaya Bello is not prosecuted. EFCC chairman. Federal government to establish solar plants in 25 states. Dana Air, NCAA identifies causes. NSIB begins probe. State police, I did not speak for IGP, AIG Okolo, and that takes us to the stories towards the masthead. PDP depletes in Southeast as Ihedioha orders dump party. On the business boss, CBN's fresh dollar says to BDCs boost Naira to 1,250 Naira per dollar. Above the masthead of Leadership, EFCC quizzes ex-Minister Sirika over Nigeria Air. Again, Dangote slashes diesel aviation fuel prices to 940 Naira, 980 Naira. And this concludes the review of the front headline stories as we move inside to page 3, where we have our stand. Our stand today is on anxiety over artificial intelligence in the workplace. Anxiety over artificial intelligence in the workplace. And we'll move over to the back page where we have Wednesday column with Olufunke Baruwa. She's writing on majoring in the minor. And of course, it's a column you want to find out what she's talking about in majoring in the minor. For continuation of front headline stories, the editorial inside stories, and the back page, log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move to the Punch newspaper. Punch says the FCC may prosecute 300 forest racketeers. EFCC gets not to freeze 300 accounts. Says one account transacted $15 billion illegally. Naira would have crashed massively if 300 accounts were not frozen, chairman of EFCC. And just beneath that headline story, we also have a trending story underneath it, and of course it goes with the photos on the cover of the Punch newspaper. Bullying, Abuja school shot, victim may sue. Bullying, Abuja school shot, victim may sue. The story runs on page 27 of the Punch. Of course, it's a story that has been trending on all social media platforms yesterday. Beneath that, Yoruba Nation, Afenifere slams Akitoye Igboho. Government in Nasarawa monarchs police escorts adopt wife aid. 50,000 schools listed for federal government's Safe School scheme. And just beside the masthead of the Punch, $500 million funds Lokbobiri as local content boss clash. Above the masthead of the Punch, Air Nigeria, Sirika goes on trial for 8 billion naira fraud. Dangote drops diesel to 940 naira, stations sell 1,400 naira. CBN releases more dollars as naira weakens to 1,300 naira per dollar. This concludes the headline stories today on the Punch newspaper. For continuation of these headline stories and inside stories, log on to the website of the Punch, www.punchng.com. From the Punch, we have this day on our menu. This day's headline story says Olukeyede, that is the FCC chairman, EFCC went above and beyond to give Yaya Bello fair hearing. Olukoyede, EFCC went above and beyond to give Yaya Bello fair hearing. Agency begins probe of contract awards in presidency. NAS judiciary orders to arraign Hadi Sirika next week over alleged 8 billion naira fraud. Freezes over 300 bank accounts in moves to further save naira. Says Nigeria accounts for 50% of global cybercrime perpetrators. The headline stories today on this day. And above that, to caution the effect of economic hardship, Dangote refinery further reduces diesel aviation fuel prices. It's a story that runs on page 10 of the paper. And above the masthead of this day, federal government launches new fiscal incentives to revamp oil, gas sector, aims to attract $10 billion investment. Targets long-term oil production target of 4 million barrels per day, 12,000 barrels per day. Awoba feed resumes production. CBN approves 4th tranche of forest sale to BDCs at 1,021 naira per dollar. This runs on page 5 of this day. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website of THISDAY newspaper, www.thisdaylive.com. From this day, we move over to Daily Sun. Daily Sun's headline story is still on EFCC, and it says, alleged 8 billion naira money laundering. EFCC Greece detains Buhari's aviation minister Sirika. Alleged 8 billion naira money laundering. EFCC Greece detains Buhari's aviation minister Sirika. And the second headline story today says, ex-governor Kogi calls EFCC illegal as court orders commission to serve charges against him on his lawyer. How we invited him but he ignored it. Anti-graft agency. Judge faces May 10 for ruling on application to set aside arrest warrant. I'm willing to appear in court but afraid of arrest. Bello. I'll take that again. Ex-Kogi governor, that is Yaya Bello, calls EFCC illegal as court orders commission to serve charges against him on his lawyer. And EFCC says how we invited him but he ignored it. Judge faces May 10 for ruling on application to set aside arrest warrant. Bello says I'm willing to appear in court but afraid of arrest. Underneath that, the strip, banks lost 8 billion naira to Yahoo boys, EFCC chair. 45,000 Nigerians have no access to electricity, Shetima. Alleged bullying. Abuja British school shot as minister police begin investigation. The story is on page 5 of Daily Sun. Those criticizing Lagos Calabar Coastal Road ignorant of project funding. Omahi. Dangote slashes diesel jet A1 fuel prices further to 980 naira per litre. Edo 2040, let's make our campaigns issue-based. Ighodalo urges co-contestants. The story is on page 27 of Daily Sun. And of course, the last but not least story today on the cover of Daily Sun says, Wabute's 30 billion naira budget padding allegation baseless. Lokobiri. And of course, that also concludes the review of the front headline stories today on Daily Sun newspaper. For continuation of this news, log on to the website of Daily Sun, www.sunnynewsonline.com. From Daily Sun, we have the last paper today on our menu, The Nation. The Nation's headline story says EFCC arrests Sirika slams Emefiele with fresh charges. EFCC arrests Sirika, former aviation minister, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. Anti-graft agency board speaks on Yahaya Bello, Betta Edu, others. And of course, what Nations wrote in the boss. What Olukoyede said on Sirika. We are investigating the Minister of Aviation, not only Hadi Sirika. Many of these heads of agencies who have worked in that ministry, particularly in the last few years, are being investigated. And the FCC boss also said on Bello, I call Yahaya Bello as a serving governor to come to my office to clear himself. I shouldn't have done that. He said he would not come. My mail should come to his village to interrogate him. What the charges are. Emefiele is being approving the printing of 684,590,000 naira at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. I don't think I got that right. Actually, Emefiele, the former CBN governor, approved the printing of 684 million plus money at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. He also broke the law with the intent to harm the public during his implementation of the Naira swap policy. These are the charges against Emefiele. And on the story, main headline story, EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. Underneath that main headline story, government tightens import duty exemptions. First Lady turns SOD of alternative high school for girls. My view on state police personnel, says IG Egbetokun. Ihedioha quits PDP. Of course, we move closer to the man's head. Federal government appoints new consulates general for US, Germany, China, UAE, others. Find that as you move to page 2 of the paper. Above the masthead of the porch, CBN says dollar to BDCs at 1,021 naira in fresh injection. Ekiti excited over next node to generate power. Government takes charge. Kano government behind my suspension, Ganduje alleges. Plateau crisis, 1.2 billion naira property destroyed. Of course, that also concludes the review of the front headline stories today on the Nation newspaper. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website of the Nation. And that also brings us to the end of this first segment of the program Inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television. On the second half, I'm going to be having my guest, virtual Jide Ojo. Don't go away, stay tuned. Good morning and welcome to the second segment of your breakfast show on television, Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Ugobo once again, and I have my guest, my midweek guest, who is joining us virtual. Of course, he's Lost But fan, Mr. Jide Ojo, a man I fondly refer to as wearing 3 caps. He's a public affairs analyst, he's a TV host, he's also a columnist. Jide Ojo, it's a pleasure to have you on the program after a long hiatus. Hello, good morning.
You're looking good. You're looking great. Good morning. I can hear you. I said you are looking
Yes,
good.
it's good to have you on the program.
Same here.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. Now, a lot has happened today on most of these papers. It's all about EFCC making arrests and slamming charges. talk about former aviation minister Sirika, and Emefiele also has been charged with fresh charges, and of course the ongoing Yaya Bello. What are your takes, or what is your take on that? Though many people have often criticized the antics of EFCC for conducting media trial, but EFCC, Olukoyede, the EFCC chairman, has come out to say that no, look at so many invitations that he actually issued to Yaya Bello, which did not yield any result until now. What do you have to say? What is your take?
Well, I want to thank you for hosting me this morning. Good to be back after a while. As far as I'm concerned, the FCC is doing its work, and I hope we will all support the new man at the helm of affairs, Mr. Ola Olukoyede Esquire. He addressed a press conference yesterday. Senior journalists, gatekeepers in journalism were all there, and he gave as much insight into the activities of the commission. Talked about having recovered over 120 billion in barely 6 months in office. Talked about those who are sabotaging the economy. He even talked about the issue of the abuse of naira at parties. But I think the highlight of that media chat or press conference was his spat with the Kogi State, immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello. And he gave insights, but I think in trying to justify what he did, he may have unwittingly set himself up for future accusation. In the last few days when this issue of Yahya Bello happened, not a very few Nigerians believe that the drama is being orchestrated. There are those who feel that Yahya Bello should have been picked up immediately after he left office, rather than allow him to hand over and still be moving about as a free man. People cited the instance of Willie Obiano, the man who was governor of Anambra State for 8 years, from whom Chukwuma Soludo took over the reins of office, that he was not even accorded that respect, that the moment the man handed over, he was hounded by the EFCC. But yesterday, Mr. Olukoyede told us of how he called Yahya Bello and assured him of the commission's fairness, to the extent that he said he will give him a special passage to his office and to be interrogated in his office, which is why Yahya Bello himself is now saying, can you come to my village to interrogate me? You can see that kind of absurdity. It's very interesting, but you see, Mr. Olukoyede could have set himself up, because in future, if he does not accord the same respect to those who may want to be intransigent, they will accuse him of bias. That after all, did you not call Yahya Bello? Did you not even offer to give him special concession to be interviewed in your office as against the normal principle? You see, what happened yesterday, people have said has shown the weakness of our anti-corruption agency. And it also goes to confirm that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than the other. If
It's
Yahya
true.
Bello, not being a former president, not being anything beyond just governor, and even age-wise, he's a small boy. I mean, he's under 50. Yet you are according him so much respect. Out of what? If the law is law. And I want to also look at the other side. There are those who said, Mr. Olukoyede, why are you rushing and laying siege on the residence of Yahya Bello?
Yes.
Uh, for 8 hours last week, operatives of EFCC lay siege on his residence in Abuja. And that's after the man had obtained a Lokoja High Court injunction saying that he should not be arrested, investigated, prosecuted until the case he has filed in Lokoja is, until that case is dealt with, until it is adjudicated upon. And EFCC has gone on appeal. But you see, the point I want to draw our attention to, okay, EFCC went on appeal. And the appeal sat yesterday, and they did not give or grant the request of EFCC. And people are on Monday rather, and people are saying, why did the EFCC not wait till the outcome of that Court of Appeal decision? If they were able to get a court to vacate that order of Lokoja High Court, then it will have been within the ambience and professionalism of EFCC to have handed Yahaya Bello, but he has hidden under the injunction that there has been an injunction by Lokoja High Court that he should not be arrested, suspended, investigated, prosecuted until the case is dealt with, which is what I feel that EFCC as a law-abiding institution, and given the fact that the chairman of EFCC is a lawyer himself, should have known that procedurally.
However, Jide, if I may cut in, Nigerians worry is the fact that will EFCC be able to prosecute, because most of the cases that EFCC embarks on like this, in this kind of action, so to speak, like you just pointed out, they lay siege at Yahaya Bello's house for about 8 hours. They have not been able to really prosecute their cases to a conclusive end, and that is why Nigerians are afraid that this one may also pan out that way, because we saw a situation whereby the FCC said they were going to amend charges, and one begins to wonder, why should you be amending charges at this time that you now want to drag him to court?
You see, that's why people accused EFCC of lack of diligent prosecution. You can see how many times they have amended their charges, the charges against Emefiele, Godwin Emefiele. This is a man that you said, you have him, the first charging for illegal possession of arms and ammunition, that he does not. Then they brought charges of procurement of some vehicles which did not follow due process. I don't know how many millions or billions.
And a word of contract to his family, his wife.
And a word of contract. Now they are amending charges to now say, oh, you know what? He printed 560 something million with 14 billion or something.
Yes.
It shows that the investigation has not been concluded as at the time you drag the man to court. And that's why they lose in court. That's why EFCC lose in court. You see, I know Mr. Olukoyede wants to break a jinx. He wants to have his name on gold. And I wrote when he was newly appointed, I hope that the banana peel that his predecessor suffered from, he will not come down on that banana peel. Because the politicians, there's what is called esprit de corps. Politicians are the same. Yahaya Bello is a member of the APC. Yahaya Bello worked for Governor Tinubu, President Tinubu, even though initially he kicked against his emergence as candidate. But at least, unlike what Nyesom Wike did in PDP, we saw that APC won almost all the seats in Kogi, including the governorship election that was held. You get, and that's how you know in politics is your relevance. How relevant are you? Some people may have whispered to President Tinubu and said, look, let's not sacrifice this young man. He worked for us. He delivered the state for us, and let him not be humiliated. You know that kind of stuff. So if Mr. Olukoyede does not tread very carefully, he may get his hands burnt. I'm not saying he should not do his job, but I'm saying be on the right side of the law. If there was a Lokoja High Court injunction that the man should not be arrested until pending the determination of the case, then EFCC should have waited till the appeal court sits on that, or they get a federal high court decision to quash that of the Kogi High Court. That would have
let me also
cancelled
take you on a memory lane. You see that you said, just like what you just said, that the Kogi State High Court also, issued the appeal in favor of the governor, the former governor, and that was exactly what played out in Ibori's case that time, when the federal high court in Iziogara also gave him a clean bill of health. And even when the EFCC moved in to arrest him, they were surrounded by his people. It only took the UK government to extradite him from where UAE for him to get.
And this is why there are fears of abuse of institutions by our governors and former governors.
Yes.
Lokoja High Court was quick to give Yahaya Bello that injunction, to give him a cover under law. And that's why people are saying, if we have state police tomorrow, as the federal police has withdrawn all its security details, will his cousin, who is now the governor of the state, not give him 200 policemen to protect him from the state police? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
yes, you are talking about state police, but at the same time, you wrote a column today for restructuring, canvassing restructuring, and of course security, the way the security apparatus of the country is actually established. This doesn't support restructuring. So your views on state police now and restructuring, they are anathema.
No. I'm not against restructuring. I'm not against state police. I'm only telling you the other side. You see, Winifred, there are two sides to every coin. Are you with me? There are two sides to every coin. Even as we speak, did you know what played out last week in Yahaya Bello's house? His security details stood their ground that they cannot take him. And I think one newspaper gave breakdown of the amount of security that Yahaya Bello even enjoys. Over 20 policemen, DSS, they said DSS, police and all. So at the end of the day, I'm saying that, look at it this way. If there was state police now, as the federal police has withdrawn their security details and even withdrawn their SSS, do you think Governor Usman Ododo will not have given him more police protection if it were to be that there is a state police in Kogi State? So I'm not saying
have engaged in gun battle.
Yes, there could have been a gun battle, the federal police, but we should not, because of that kind of scenario, that should not prevent us from having state police, because everything in life has advantages and disadvantages. Everything in life can be abused. The federal police today is being abused, whether we like it or not. So we cannot be enslaved. They just like even federal judiciary, federal high court, court of appeal, Supreme Court, they have been abused. Look at the miscarriage of justice that happened in the case of 16 lawmakers in Plateau State, where the court, the Election Petition Tribunal and the Court of Appeal said that those people lost their seat because they did not come through properly organized party primary. But the Supreme Court, in ruling in the same case, in the governorship election petition at the Supreme Court, reinstated the governor and said that the governor issue of nomination of candidates is an internal party of internal affairs of a political party. So there would be, life there is a lot of complexities and diversities and dynamism. So we just have to. I'm just for the sake of analysis putting all the issues there. But EFCC just need to follow due process. We have seen all this initial gra before in many cases. Where
Exactly. That's
how
why
did it
Nigerians
turn
are
out?
not so moved,
Let
because we
me
have seen
remind
these
you,
grass is
Winifred.
pointed out before.
Let me remind you, Winifred. When EFCC under what is his name, the one that was there
Uh,
before now, that young guy,
Bawa,
that
is
young
it
man,
Bawa?
Bawa,
Bawa.
Abdurrashid Bawa. When they went after Owele Rocha Sukorocha, that they laid siege on his residence,
Exactly.
they broke through his roof to arrest him. After they arrested him, dragged him to court, he got he was granted bail. Since he was granted bail, the man has been moving about freely. The case of Willie Obiano that was arrested at the airport after he handed over to his successor, Chukwuma Soludo, they arrested the man at the airport. They said he was about to flee Nigeria. Okay, you
Yes.
drag him to court. Today, just last week, Winifred, the man went back to court and got his travel documents from the court that he needs to go abroad to attend to his health. So, even if today Yahaya Bello surrenders himself, he will go with senior lawyers. They will get bail for him. Look at the issue of Naira and spraying of Naira.
But just
When
before you
they
do talk
arrested,
about spray of Naira, Jide, what about the issue of Senator Orji Kalu? Have you forgotten the only technical grounds was that the judge was due for retirement when he gave that sentencing?
no,
At the end of
it
the day,
wasn't even due. The
nothing.
judge wasn't
And the
due for
FCC told us they
retirement.
were going to appeal or maybe take it to another
No,
judge.
no,
Nothing happened.
no. Winifred, the EFC, the judge wasn't due for retirement. The judge that decided Ojikalu's case, that convicted him, before
Yes.
the date of the judgment, had been promoted to court of appeal,
Okay.
and he
Yes.
has gone to resume at the court of appeal. He
Mm.
now came back to High Court on the date he has given for the pronouncement to be made. He now came and sentenced Ojikalu. Ojikalu's lawyer now said, no, you cannot do this. Yes, you are the one that prosecuted the case, but you have been moved to higher court. You cannot descend from that court of appeal back to high court. You cannot at the same time being a court of appeal judge and be a high court judge. You have chosen to be a court of appeal judge. You cannot come back to descend to the court you have previously left to now give this judgment. That was the technicality. And when the EFCC moved to appeal, the Ojikalu's lawyers also went and met them in court. And today the man is free. The man has even won 2 elections after that incident. Don't forget, he was a serving senator at the time that incident happened. I think during the 8th Senate. After that 8th Senate episode, he won the to election back to 9th Senate. He is back there as in the 10th Senate. So what I'm saying is that Mr. Olukoyede, I know he's on familiar turf, but he needs to learn the politics of that office so that he can survive. I know he wants to impress Mr. President that is different, but he must know that the body language also matters. Because when you do something in disobedience of court rule of law, even when you have built a very good case, technicalities can knock off your case. Because now the camp of Yahaya Bello is shouting persecution, that the man is being persecuted. But you are coming to tell us, oh, he withdrew $720,000 and went to Bureau de change. Yes, that is your own word. What if he says it's his personal money? And he will tell you that he was rich before he became governor. So it's a very thing like it's God that can effectively judge this politician.
Because don't forget too that the former EFCC chairman Bawa also had is it Matawale Yari?
Yes,
also
he had a running
at the
battle
end of the
with
day, nothing happened.
Bello. He had the running battle with Bello Matawale to the extent
Yes.
that one accused him of demanding bribe and all of that. At the end of the day, Bello Matawale today is sitting as a Minister of State for Defense. Where is Abdul Rashid Bawa? Bawa has been sacked. He was not only sacked, he was imprisoned, he was detained for like 4 months before he was released. And now he's quietly licking his wound. So, Mr. Olukoyede, I wish him success, but he needs to understand that there is no point playing to the gallery. All those details of I called him, I should not have called him, but I accorded him that respect. I did this. Those are just whipping on sentiment. You should not have done it. Now, will you do it for every other person who resists arrest by EFCC? If somebody comes tomorrow that is from Igbo extraction or from North, will you say, oh, I cannot do it to you? You understand? People will say, no,
Yes.
this is not fair. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. We use this today's program Inside Nigeria to analyze the investigations of EFCC on some prominent Nigerians. Of course, I had the pleasure of having with me today Jide Ojo. Thank you so much. Time is not on our side now. I guess this is where we end today's program Inside Nigeria. It's been a pleasure to have you around, Jide Ojo, and I look forward to having you on the same frequency next week. So till I come your way again, same time tomorrow. Here's wishing you a beautiful day. Ciao.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last word.